Daniel, I emailed you after your rousing speech, and first of all, I've got to point out that this gentleman from across the water who was attracting a lot of attention to himself bothered to write back. One of the things you told me was, which I thought was really impressive, thank you, you told me about your cousin from Colorado. I just was curious how you're coming along in the conversion process and when that'll be done so you can send her back to us.
But you know, it's a really interesting thing. Okay, she's 19 years old, my cousin. She's from a little farmstead outside Pueblo. She's a registered Democrat. She says that in Pueblo you have to be a registered Democrat in order to participate in any meaningful elections. But here's the interesting thing about her. You know, there's a lot of myths that some people in Europe have about the US. You know, that people here are racist, that it's mean and it's uncharitable and the TV is trash and the food is bad and so on. And you know, the amazing thing is the extent to which some left-wing Americans have started falling for this, even though it flies in the face of all their first-hand evidence. So my cousin, who's been now 6 months, she's doing a degree in Brighton, and she's been travelling around Europe. And she will come out with these things, and I'll say, Lavina, how can you tell me that US TV is trash? You've watched Italian television, for God's sake, you know. And how can you tell me that people in Europe are politer? You know, it's just, and what it is that she has been so kind of conditioned by a measure of self-hatred that one finds in the American left, that even the first-hand evidence to the contrary isn't enough to jolt her out of it. Well, I think the great cure for these things is wisdom, you know, and it comes with age. The facts of life are conservative. And I hope that when she maybe gets to a stage where she's not a student and she's got a mortgage and she's actually having to pay taxes, maybe some of the seeds that I'm planting now will sprout into great flush thickets.
Daniel, thank you for being here tonight. One comment is, it's amazing that a member of the European Parliament can do such an eloquent speech without a teleprompter. And secondly,
that's right.
This document, which I carry around in my pocket, which is the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, has been so eloquently represented by you tonight that we need to get the message around the world what a wonderful piece of information this is for people to build a republic that will grow and prosper and not be demeaned by liberals and people who think that government is the answer when people are truly the answer.
That's right.
Well, Senator, I'm not sure I caught the question there, but I thought your answer was brilliant and I agreed with every word of it.
Daniel, thanks so much for being here. When I was watching your speech, I played it actually loud enough throughout the cubicles at the Capitol because I said, you've got to hear this guy. You've got to come in and hear this guy. He's great. He's great. Anyway, I want to talk about cap and trade that passed by 12 votes this evening. And I would like to talk about health care, both scheduled for this great state in terms of its single payer. And, you know, we talk about the rapidity, the quickness with which this is all happening. And Colorado legislature is not unfamiliar with this. We've had Democrats actually shoving through, I think, without debate, without good debate, and with a quickness that's startling, so that when the people actually find out what has been passed over our objections, then we find that it's already in place. And I'd like your thinking on that, because these two prime issues are really going to be before us this coming session.
Thank you. I mean, look, first of all, this is for you to decide, right? That was settled at Yorktown. But I will just say this about healthcare, because I know that it's an issue that's very current at the moment. We are where I think some on the American left would like to be, and it's not a good place. We have a national health system that is run on socialist principles. That is to say, it is funded out of general taxation and then made available freely. So it is exactly a Marxist system. Contribution according to ability and distribution according to need. And the result of this is that it doesn't work very well, of course. if it had worked, we would have won the Cold War. We would have lost the Cold War. We know that this doesn't work. If there was a national food system and we were all allocated one restaurant and one cafe and one supermarket, we know where that would lead. It would lead to racketeering and corruption and rationing, and in the end to general starvation. So, in a way, it shouldn't surprise anybody that it doesn't work. But of course, that isn't the argument. The argument that's made is, what about the people who can't afford it? I guess the same argument that's made here. What are we going to do about the uninsured? Well, you know what? They will still be better off within a system where standards are driven up by choice and competition.
That's right.
And it's a really basic conservative point. We have the argument over education as well. It's all very well for you free marketeers to argue for parental choice and so on, but what about the parents who aren't so articulate? And you know what? They are served by the pushy parents whether they like it or not, because they still benefit. I am the worst shopper in the world. Okay, when I go to the supermarket, I've got no idea what I should be paying for a pint of milk. I've got no idea about ingredients or sell-by dates or anything, but I am still guaranteed a measure of quality because of all the more discerning and exigent people who do know about those things. And that's the beautiful thing about the market. It works for everyone, whether they believe in it or not. And so don't make the mistake of having a socialist system where everyone is dragged down to a situation where they might be lucky. They might happen to hit on the one good specialist, the one good surgeon in the one good hospital. But if they're not lucky, there is not a thing they can do about it, because they have no contractual rights as consumers. They're treated as supplicants and are expected to be grateful for anything they get.
Oh, boy.